Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for tuning in today. The most successful people in business and in sales are experts at staying calm and unemotional through the hard times and really the high times in their career. On today's show, we are with the coach of the world's top performers and founder of Easton University, Mr. Matt Easton, to join us to share 7 tips to help you master your emotions, which is so vitally important. Matt, thank you for joining us once again on the show. Very much appreciate it.
You too, Jim. You too. And I'm gonna try and stay unemotional during today's interview. But this is something that gets me emotional because I see people losing money, and I'm not talking a little bit of money.
Yep.
I'm talking a lot of money, both for themselves in terms of their commission and income, and for their business, both in getting a little too angry and a little too happy. It's really weird.
Sure.
We've got to stay professional. So I thought maybe I'd give you around 7 different tips today to help.
Let's go. Yep.
Everyone
Perfect.
in terms of being unemotional. Number 1, okay? Congratulations, you just got a number, you just got a helmet, you just got some pads and a sponsorship from Gatorade. You are now a professional. What is the difference of being a professional, y'all? It's not personal. The number one thing I need you guys, the first tip I need you to realize is it's not personal, no matter how much of a jerk that person is that you're working with, or even your coworker,
Right.
or how excited and easygoing they are. It's not personal, okay? We've got to be professional. We've got to have a process. We've got to follow our process, and we've got to trust our process with everybody. If you just work with the deals that emotionally don't get you flustered, you're costing yourself about 90% of your income.
That's right. That's right. So let's jump right in. What's number 1?
Yeah, so number 1 is it's not personal.
Okay.
Okay. Number 2, and this is huge, Jim, and I'm sure you've experienced this in the past. It's not as bad as you think. And here's what I mean by this. I bet, Jim, if you think back, there was a promotion at one of your jobs or a big sale that you had where you're like, no way in heck they're buying from me. No way in heck I'm getting this job. And lo and behold, you get it. Oftentimes, especially if we're dealing with a higher ticket purchase, meaning a more expensive purchase or a higher risk solution, that person's going to naturally and inherently be a little bit difficult with us.
Sure.
Okay. So you have to realize it's not as bad as you think.
Right.
Sometimes the plane gets a little bumpy right before it lands.
That's right.
So hang in there and stay unemotional. Oftentimes when somebody is difficult with us, it means that they're right about to make a decision, and that decision is about to be a yes. And I want to repeat that because it's really important. Oftentimes when somebody is difficult with us, it means they're about to tell us yes. Just don't be emotional. Trust your process. Like I teach people how to close. Trust your close. Doesn't make sense to place the order.
Yeah.
No. Got it. What's a good next step? Land the plane. Sometimes it gets a little bumpy right before it lands.
That's right.
3rd tip. And y'all, you might say, I don't stereotype people. You do.
Yeah.
Okay. We all do. It's human nature.
Sure.
3rd tip. This customer, this prospect, this client, this organization, whoever it is that you're talking to on the phone or is across from you, is not every customer. I need to repeat this for my OGs that have worked in sales longer than 10 minutes. It's really weird, but when we work, day 3, day 4, day 5 are in sales, you're like, I know everybody. You don't. Anybody that's either a twin or has friends. Jim, did you ever know any twins growing up?
Yeah, sure.
A lot of times they couldn't be more different people.
That's right.
Even though they look exactly alike.
That's right.
This customer is not every single customer. Again, trust your process. Just like a pilot, land the dang plane. Follow the procedures.
Yeah.
Don't think just because the last 4 people said, no way in heck I'm ever going to buy with this particular finance rate. Don't project that onto the next customer.
That's right.
This customer is not your customer. So stop stereotyping them.
And don't mention to that new customer that the last 4 customers were a little bit hesitant about signing because the rates are so high right now. I've seen that done before. It's been done right in front of me with salespeople that are trying to sell me something, and they'll bring up, the high interest rates, or they'll bring up some derogatory thing that makes me go, oh, wait a minute, you're right. I didn't even think about that. And you know what? Let me hold off on this. Sometimes
Jim,
salespeople sabotage it.
Some of them. I'm not going to name names, but there's sales coaches out there that coach people to do this. And their logic is this: get ahead of the objection. And it's some sort of objection competition where if you bring it up first, sometimes you win. Imagine if you did that in your dating game, right? Like, again, that's what I love about eastonuniversity.com. The same stuff would work if you were dating.
Sure.
And if you had a 500 credit score, it probably wouldn't be a good idea the first time you meet somebody to go, hey, I just want to get ahead of this and let you know I haven't paid my bills in 2 years. My credit score is 480, right? Like, just because you think that they might have an objection to it, be prepared, have a process. By the way, most objections are not objections at all. They're complaints.
That's right.
Huge difference.
Or there's just a question. Maybe they're a question that somebody thinks, oh, that's an objection. No, 100%. It was just a question. Right.
Yes. And don't think you need to get ahead of it by bringing it up before they do.
Right.
Ridiculous.
Right.
All right. I'm going to get, you got the camera, Jim? Take my picture.
Yep, we got it.
Close the big deal. Okay, this is in terms of the positives. And this is where Matt Easton is a little bit different than all the other sales coaches out there. And Jim, you're probably going to, if you could go back and punch yourself in the face from 20 years ago, you would. And I would too. We've all been guilty of this. I guarantee you've done this, Jim. And that is stopping to take pictures.
Oh, yeah.
What I mean by this is winning begets more winning. Like if a quarterback is completing pass after pass after pass, right? And they're just what they call in sports in the zone.
Yeah.
The last thing that coach wants to do is take them out of the game.
Right.
It would be a bad decision to take them out of the game. Right. They're in the zone. They're hot.
That's
if
right.
It's a basketball player and they're shooting 3-pointer after 3-pointer. Leave that. Steph Curry, you are staying in the game.
Right.
Okay. And this is a mistake that we make time and time again. We stop and take pictures.
Yeah.
Somebody right now watching this, 5, 4, boom, they just closed a big deal. Contract just came in through their email, right? They're going to have a likelihood, a proclivity to go around the office and high five everybody, brag about it.
Yep.
They're going to go on to Google and start shopping for their vacation that they're going to buy with their commission. I'm not saying don't celebrate your wins.
Right.
Do that after the workday is over.
Yeah.
The minute you close a deal is the best time for you to start prospecting again.
100% agree. Yep.
Yeah, because they can, you smell that?
That's right.
Victory, right? They can smell that confidence on you. But unfortunately, we all stop and take pictures, right? There's so many people that are like, I just closed a big deal. I'm going to take the rest of the afternoon off.
Yeah.
Right?
Or sometimes the rest of the month off.
Yeah, 100%. Here's another one, number 5, okay? And this is huge. And again, everybody does this. And your Uncle Matt is telling you not to do this anymore. Don't set your goals based on what other people have done. Don't set your goals based on what the people at your company, at your store, at your outfit, at your dealership, in your industry event. That is a ridiculous way of doing things.
Yeah.
We would never have any advancements in life if people set goals based on what other people have done. It's the old Roger Bannister, right? How fast did he run that mile? Was it a 4-minute mile or 8-minute mile? I don't know. But apparently doctors were saying it was impossible for human beings to run a mile that fast.
Right.
This guy did it. And the next year, like 172 people did it. Now everybody at Planet Fitness can do it. Because everybody was setting their goals on what the last person to do it was.
That's right.
You got what you need to do. And I'm not saying do my sales process. I'm not saying do Jim's sales process. I'm not saying, I don't care what you figure out, but go read a book, find a sales coach, come up with a process, and then look and say, you know what, if I was able to execute on this process and I was able to execute skillfully, how many deals could I do? And don't even think about what the person that's been there for 20 years has done.
Right.
Don't even think about what you've done 20 years ago. You are limiting your ability to earn income. You are limiting your ability to grow your business if you set your goals based on what other people have done. What you need to do is think about your process and then scientifically, unemotionally, set a goal based on what that process could do, right? Wow, I really think I've made a breakthrough here in follow-up calls. How many more deals could this help me get?
Yeah.
30%. How many did I close last month? Last month I did 11 deals. So if I could get 30% more, you know what? I think I can do 15%, 15 deals a month with this new follow-up.
That's right.
Right? Fortunately, we're like, I did 11 deals last month. I'd like to do that again. Or the gym in the office did 12. I'd like to do 10.
Yeah.
It's not skillful. It's not skillful.
Agreed.
Number 6, and this is huge, NOS, for my Fast and Furious fans. I am not asking you to put a canister of nitrous oxide in your car to push the button to win the drag races against Vin Diesel, although that would be pretty cool. Here's what I mean when I say NOS, N-O-S. And I'm about, hi, yeah, you out there, I'm going to change your world right now. If you get a NOS, you will supercharge your performance. A NOS is a net outcome statement. A net outcome statement is not what that person wanted to buy. That would be a net purchase statement. I'll be here when you need a car. I'll be here when you need a wedding planner. I'll be here when you need sales coaching. A net outcome statement is the net outcome. For example, with me, no problem, Jim. I get it. I'll be here when you need to triple your commissions in sales. Fair enough. Why should you get a net outcome statement? Again, what we're talking about today is being unemotional. Sometimes that customer, sometimes that client, sometimes that prospect is not in a mental state to do business with you. Okay? The worst thing you could ever do is get in an argument with them and match their emotions and say something stupid like, if I could just have 5 minutes of your time, I'd like to tell you why you should buy from me, right? Or why don't you want to buy this? It's great.
Right.
Or how do I tell you, another coach out there, how do I tell you you're making a mistake without hurting your feelings, right? Like it's not a good place to be.
No.
Just have a NOS. So if Jim comes into your store, your dealership, starts to get irritable, hey, this is not a fit, I'm going someplace else, right? Oh, Matt, I don't need sales coaching. Sales coaching is stupid. I've been in sales for 30 years. Don't know why you called us, but I'm not going to say that. I've been in sales for 30 years. No problem, Jim. Totally get it. We'll be here when you need to triple your commissions. Fair enough. Now you're asking that person to walk away from the outcome. Right? No problem. I'll be here when you need to get a vehicle that matches the financing that you need, and you have a match between payment and the
right.
Fair enough. Right? And the two things here. Number one, you have lost the battle, but you haven't lost the war. Right? And when you get in an argument with somebody, all you do is get egos involved, both yours and more importantly theirs. And even if you turn out to be the right decision, they're not going to come back and talk to you. Right. Because they had an argument with you. There's people that still aren't talking to their in-laws 40 years ago because somebody said something about the 82 Packers team.
I know.
Right?
Yep.
It's not skillful. Right? So number one, if we have an argument, that deal's dead. So we don't want to have an argument. Number two, okay? When I do a net outcome statement, no problem, I'll be here when you need to triple your commissions and sales. Not only have I left that person thinking about the outcome, but I've left the door wide open for me to now call them back a week later and say, hey, Jim, it's Matt Easton, Easton University. Hey, I've got an idea I'd love to get your opinion on. Can you give me a call on my mobile, 720-660-3202? If I have an argument with you and say, Jim, why don't you want sales coaching? And force you to double down on that. Or how do I tell you you're making a mistake? Or come on, Jim, if you don't do this, you're going to lose it. I can't really call you back.
That's right.
I just leave you with a net outcome statement. I'm leaving the door wide open for me to follow back with you with new information. Hey, Jim, not sure if you remember me, but I remember you. You were in here last month. You wanted XYZ. Something just came in with our inventory that I'd love to get your opinion on. Can you give me a call? That person's going to be 900% more likely to re-engage with you.
That's right. If you didn't shut it down and shut it off completely.
Yeah, if you don't shut it off.
Right.
Okay. We got time for one last one?
Absolutely. Yep.
It's going to hurt some people's feelings. They're going to disagree with me. Okay. This is a lot like when we're driving our cars, right? There's 8 billion people, I think 8.1 billion people on this little rock that we spin around on called Earth. Yeah. Okay. If you guys, and some of you have to start being honest with you. If you're like, everybody is a jerk, nobody has any money, everybody is rude, everybody was wasting my time. I'm going to say it again. There is 8.1 billion people on planet Earth. If you are saying blanket statements like everybody is blank, I just want to let you know this. It's you.
It's you. That's right.
It's not them.
That's right.
Just like, how sometimes you're driving along and finally you realize after the 5th time of you honking at everybody and hopefully not doing, the sign language with them and giving them bad hand gestures. All of a sudden, hopefully you realize you're like, I'm the idiot today.
Yeah.
I need to calm down.
That's right.
I'm going to get in a car accident. It's because I'm late and my wife just yelled at me. And you know what? It's not them, it's me.
That's right.
If you're constantly saying to your management team, to your leadership, right, that our customers are terrible, our customers lie to us. You've given the customer an opportunity to lie to you. It's what you're saying. It's how you're saying it. It's when you're saying it. It's you.
That's right.
The world is not out to get you guys. It's just not. The world can, you guys can sell as much as you want to sell, but you have to realize it's not them, it's you. If you can get the right process, it's just about finding like those old locks we had on our locker with the 3-digit number.
Yeah.
Once you know, remember, I could do that by 8th grade. I could do that without even looking at it, right? It was so easy to unlock.
Just knowing the combination and you make the sale.
Yes, just be unemotional and go, okay. And you have to check your ego. Leave your ego at home.
Yeah.
If the last 15 people have hung up on you, it's what you're saying when you call them.
Yeah.
Okay? If the last 15 people have not bought from you, it's that you didn't figure out what's going on in their world and you weren't able to present a solution to them that they can understand.
That's right.
It's not them, it's you. Get some help.
And
it's okay to need help.
And this list of 7 tips you can put into practice today and make a change. This isn't, don't overthink it. This isn't something that you got to start one day or get or buy something to start. It's something that you can put into practice today with your next customer, with your next prospect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you're making their life easier. You got to realize this, and this is what I hate about sales coaches that like teach 101 manipulative phrases. Your job is to not pressure somebody. Your job is not to tell somebody they're not a real man or they're not a real woman or they're a bad mom or a bad dad if they don't buy your product. Like that's garbage. You're helping somebody improve their life.
That's right.
Right? If you can learn to be skillful and you can learn to land these planes just like a pilot lands the plane. No problem. Right. Looks like there's a little bit of a crosswind. I'm gonna look over at my co-pilot Jim and say, hey Jim, adjust the flaps 7%. Right? Yeah. And I'm just going to land the plane. I'm not going to get emotional about it.
That's right.
Right. And you guys, be careful who you take advice from. I'm not saying you got to take advice from me. I'm not saying you got to take advice from Jim, but be careful who you take advice from.
That's right.
And be careful who you set your goals to match.
That's
your goals should be around your process. The world's not out to get you. There's 8.1 billion people. A lot of them need your help. Get a process, stay positive. Don't let yourself get too high. Don't let yourself get too low. Land the dang plane. It's going to rain business on you. And people, even those ones that were the most difficult, it's funny, Jim, those are the ones that come back with like a muffin for you and a hug and say, I didn't want to be a jerk, but this was a really important decision and I appreciate you hanging in there with me. What can I do to help you? I'd like to let my congregation know about you. I'd like to let my business know about you.
That's right.
Thank you so much for staying calm with me.
That's right. These 7 tips will really, really turbocharge your sales efforts in 2024. So Matt Easton, sales coach, founder of Easton University, thank you so much for joining us once again. Very much appreciate it. This is why you are like the sales coach to go to for many very, very successful high performance people out there. So thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.